Welcome to Yellow with Susu. I'm your host, Susu, and tonight's guest is Indigenous artist Chad Yellowjohn. Hey, Chad.
Hey, how's it going, Susu?
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm very excited to talk to you and learn more about your background and being an artist.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on. Thank you for creating this platform for all the talented people. And I'm very thankful for, I don't know, being a part of that list of yours. So thank you.
No, you're very, very much appreciated. So, Chad, I just kind of want to go ahead and kind of start diving into this. Could you maybe give us a little bit of background about your inspiration and how long have you been an artist for, and what kind of art do you do?
Wow, that's it's kind of crazy. I don't know. Just I was thinking about that, trying to figure out, because I don't know, a lot of people have their own little background. But my name is Chad Little Coyote Yellowjohn, and my Indian name is Spiliet. My mom's name is Ione Yellowjohn, and my dad's name is David Brown Eagle Sr. And I am Shoshone Bannock in Spokane. And I've been drawing since I was probably at the age of 5 or 6. And how my mom and my brothers explain it is I was considered a mute. And, and so we were going to Disneyland, and I've never been to Disneyland. And we were flying there. And back then, we didn't have, iPads. We didn't have tablets. We didn't have the little laptop DVD thingies on, to play around with. And my mom gave me this Garfield notepad, which is probably 4x7, and I still have it. And inside of it, there's I was drawing the airplane, and I was drawing all the seats inside of it, and the aisles, and my mom and my brothers could see what I was trying to draw. And I think what really took off for me, just gave me a slight push towards being an artist, is when we came back from Disneyland. You can see on my website, I was trying to draw Goofy, Donald Duck, Goofy, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Daisy, Peter Pan, Dumbo. And I mean, they don't look exactly like them, but if you were an older person you could look at it and you could tell that it looks like what I was trying to draw by memory, because we didn't have pictures, we didn't have phones to, recreate, to have as a reference. But Goofy, I don't know, he was looking kind of scary.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's where it kind of ignited a little bit. And then a few years later, I was still drawing things, and I would draw stuff that would be in front of me, my mom's flowers or my mom's beadwork, or I would sit in the front of my yard and I would draw the house and scribble the trees that surrounded it. And then, my family is very sporty, and
Okay.
yeah. And so, my big brother, he was into Michael Jordan, and he would watch all of his games. And I started watching Michael Jordan as a kid as well. And I was so that's how I got to love Michael Jordan as a basketball player. And he's one of my favorite players today for a lot of people. And I also, when we weren't watching NBA, I was watching Looney Tunes. I was watching Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, who were my favorite duo. And then Goofy movie came out. I was watching Goofy movie, and I was also into Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit as a kid.
I got you.
Yeah.
So it seems like you have a lot of 90s inspirations, and just hear you talking about something like that. It seems that you had a lot of inspiration from your family, because just from the sounds of it, you sound so family oriented, and that is something that I can always respect when I meet people. And then just you talking about those challenges that you had growing up, it seems like art was your way of communicating. So I've seen your work, and hopefully some of our guests can take a look. You are amazing. I mean, your work is truly amazing. So to hear that you were kind of inspired from a family trip. And then also what is kind of fun to hear is also, like you talked about your name meaning from your mom, your dad, and throughout your family. So is that your artist name that you go by? And can you tell us your name one more time, your Indigenous name, and how was that given to you?
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I go by Chad Lil Coyote Yellowjohn, and it's actually Little Coyote. And
Little
my
Coyote.
and my Indian name is Spiliet, and which pronounces an translation in the Salish language, Little Coyote.
Oh, wow.
And little, yeah. So it's not my rap name. I've gone to like so many events where I'll introduce myself as "Hi, I'm Chad. I go by Little Coyote." People will ask me, "Oh, what type of music do you do?" I was like, "Oh, no, I'm an artist." Like, yeah, no. What type of music do you do? I was like, no, I draw.
You're a different kind of artist. That's
Yeah.
awesome, right? No, that's very cool. And that's something for me. I've always been interested, because I was telling you a little bit, like, because when I went to school, I did a lot of studies on like Native American culture and Indigenous people. So I personally love to hear people's stories, and just hearing that's really amazing that you were on a family trip and that was some way for you to be inspired. And then also being able to recreate all these things from memory. So that was kind of like your first leap. And as you were talking, and you did mention your website. What is the name of your website?
Lil LILcoyote.com. And a lot of people spell CY. And I don't know. I mean, I know where they get the I in it, but it's COYOTE. Okay. LilCoyote.com.
Okay. How would you describe your artistic philosophy? Is there something that drives your approach to creating art?
It's more of like, well, as like I mentioned, like I was considered a mute as a kid, and I didn't talk. I would just like mumble words, and I don't know, maybe I was just not interested in talking. I was just like, I remember getting into arguments with my brothers, and like they would be talking at me with like English words, and I'll just ramble, not like words that don't exist, like and as I'm like tearing up. Just it's making me laugh now that I think that. But yeah, well, as a kid I was like considered a mute, and then I started mumbling words, but like the only way I can really communicate with my brothers and my mom is through my art. Like my mom told me, like she could tell when I'm sad. She can tell me when I'm happy. She can tell when I'm, in my own world. And that's what kept me busy. And, I didn't have to like tell my mom that I was sad. She would just look at my drawings. And that's how I learned to like really express myself, is through my art. And also, so that's kind of like my philosophy, is like I use my voice in like each of my creations. It starts out as a seed and it slowly grows into what you see. And and I also have like I have like all these drafts like on my iPad or in my notebook, like that I haven't touched, that I want to someday express, but it's not like it's not fully like ignited yet, but the seed is there. And whenever, like, I've had creations like where I will draw up a really, really rough draft, and then it's like, there's a seed. Road trips, cruising. And I one time I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, I just like to drive to unnecessary places. And he was like, so cruising. Anyways, yeah, no, cruising is like one of the best ways for me to like get an idea for my next creation, or just like other drafts I have booked up in my notebook or on my iPad. And it's always like either it's more of like an emotional release for me, and also a response depending on what is like bothering me. And I don't know, like a lot of artists, it's more of like a healing way for them. And when my people hurt or they feel angered, I see it as an opportunity to like help them express how they feel about that certain situation, because it's something that we share. It's like, I don't know, it's more like a in sync feeling that our people have towards a certain issue, such like political issues or awareness, such as MMIW. And
what is that?
And the Missing Murdered Indigenous Women.
So, Chad, can you tell us what the MMIW movement is all about?
Yes, it is the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. And it's a movement to spread awareness about the constant. It's more of like a list that just is constantly being filled up throughout Indian country of missing and murdered Indigenous women, and the lack of awareness and lack of what would you call it?
Care?
Where it's more, I don't know, it's more of like it's not in America's worry list. It's like they don't
not like important to them the way it should
yes be. I've always had like my brothers speak up for me, or I had my mom speak up for me, but I would express that through my art.
Basically, that's how you incorporate your cultural heritage into your artwork, is making art pieces that express the things or the situations and issues that are happening throughout the Indigenous communities.
Yes.
It's amazing. So just hearing about that and hearing that, here's another person and, you might not be using your voice, but you're also using something great, which is image. And that can draw a lot of people in because, a lot of us come from different cultures. Again, I'm Lebanese Jordanian. You said your people are from a certain tribe?
Yeah, my tribe is Shoshone Bannock and Spokane. And Shoshone Bannock comes from Fort Hall Indian Reservation in Pocatello / Fort Hall, Idaho. Yeah, and Spokane is from Spokane, Washington.
That's very amazing just to hear like you have so much history just even talking to me, and like just I'm learning as I'm talking to you. So for anyone out there who's listening, just being able to use this as a chance to learn not about art but just again you incorporating all this heritage and all your culture into these art pieces just make some of these pieces more meaningful, which would lead me to ask you, so Chad, what is one of the most meaningful pieces that you have created?
Okay. It is called Culture's Gone, spelled with a Gon. They shut down the powwow due to COVID. This is like during the beginning of COVID. They canceled the powwow. And all these vendors were paying, they pay like a huge amount to be a vendor at that powwow. You have to like pay in like years or months in advance.
If you could help us, Chad, what for listeners out there, what is a powwow?
A powwow is a gathering. It's a community gathering. You don't have to be Indigenous. It's for everyone to come and just enjoy themselves at this gathering that we have. There's powwow. I mean, there's dancers from children to elders, and you also have drum groups of like the lowest to like 2 people to like 10 singers drumming singing and drumming around this like drum. And you also have, I don't know, it's just like
it's like an event like through like it's an Indigenous event of sharing like the heritage and culture through like these tribes and their dancing and singing.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly.
And different places, right? They have it. I always wanted to go to one, but I haven't ever really had the chance to do so. So being able to hear about that, it's really amazing. And then, like you said, that piece that you made, the vendors, like it got canceled during you said the early events somewhere between like 2020 when all that happened.
Yeah. And my dad was actually a vendor, and he was
Oh
requesting
wow.
for, yeah, he was actually requesting for his refund because, you know, there's a lot of vendors that depend on that money, especially when COVID hit. Like, you know, a lot of people weren't working or lost their jobs, and so they needed that money. And so they denied them and said that they will hold their spot for when they open up this powwow. And so probably like 2 or 3 years passed by, and um, my dad told me that he wasn't going to be making it. And so they told him that if he doesn't show up, that they're going to take his money as a donation.
What?
Yeah. And so he was bummed out, and I had this like urge like to say, I'll go. Like, I'll vend for you. I'll sell my stuff, and I'll send you my I'll send you like the vending payment so that, you know, you get your money's worth. You get your money back supposedly. And then so I arrived, and I was vending, selling my you know, my stickers, whatever I had left, like my art. And it seemed pretty empty. There wasn't a lot of vendors. They were closed down, or there was like a lot of people that didn't show up. So next year, my dad, I don't know why, but he ends up vending again, and you know, dancers pay like, I think it was like $50 to dance in the powwow.
Okay.
And for an Indigenous person, that's ridiculous
Okay.
because I don't know, like the most, like one of the, like, I don't know, like the most like fancy powwows, the most that they will pay is $20. And it's
What?
also, yeah, and it's all, and it's free. I mean, powwows are free to like go into, and you know, you don't have to have a. So there's like a whole bunch of stuff bad about it, but anyways, so when I'm watching Grand Entry, I'm seeing I'm seeing my culture. I'm seeing my people dance. You know, they came all this way from Canada, either Mexico, East Coast, West Coast, to come to this powwow and show their culture,
Right.
their way of dancing. I see the silhouette of the guy who runs the whole thing, and him
Oh.
and I are seeing different perspectives. And I was thinking like, this guy is seeing money, like he's seeing like $1 million dance on that dance floor. And so that's when it kind of like ignited this piece.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah. And
What's the name
so,
of the piece again?
Culture's Gone with a GON.
GON. Okay. Where can people see this piece?
It's posted on my Instagram.
Okay. And what's your Instagram name? And if you can tell us that, just so if anybody wants to go and check it out.
It is Lil LIL _Coyote COYOTE.
Okay. And I personally, I find your art to be quite amazing. And I was going to ask you because I know you've done a residency for your artwork as well.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal to be able to do that. So, Chad, can you talk about the role of your art in promoting Indigenous American culture? Do you see yourself creating new trends or movements in the art world?
You know, I was actually thinking about that the other day, because I grew up in a non-Indigenous white town, but the neighboring community, Washington, which is home of the Kalispel tribal members. You know, they're not my ancestors, but they took me and my mom and my brothers, you know, in as, you know, like their own. And so, and we went home back to Fort Hall, which is like an 8-hour drive. And, you know, I didn't really get to like connect with my culture back home. So
it sounds like your mom was very strong in just kind of teaching you everything and keeping your own heritage with just between you and your brothers as well. So that's really awesome.
I don't know. I just remember my mom, she beads. She's an amazing beader. Like she can make like, I don't know. That's like a whole other subject.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah. So your mom,
yeah.
So your mom sounds like she's a big inspiration because she also does her own artwork where she beads as well. And then you kind of grew up seeing, your mom's an artist in her own way. And then you growing up to be this amazing artist yourself. I was going to ask you too, is your artwork, is there a certain name for the type of artwork that you do?
There's like a lot of Native artists that like to claim the inspired Indigenous art.
Okay.
And there's also like that struggle with like in the art world down here in Santa Fe is that there's Indigenous inspired art and then there's inspired Indigenous art. And what the difference is that only one of them is created by an Indigenous person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's like kind of like the movement that I've kind of took on with my art is to claim our not art back or giving, myself, but also other artists an inspiration or type of like inspiration to like impact our people to claim that nativity type deal.
That sounds really awesome. So even for a person like you, you can start these new movements or open doors for other Indigenous artists. Now, is there differences? Is there a lot of differences between all these different tribes?
When I went to IA, the Institute of American Indian Arts, which is here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, you can walk in there and think that you know it all, but like myself, like I used to have like a big ego. And
are you the baby of your family? I'm guessing. I can already tell. I already can tell. See, I'm the oldest in my family, so I can always tell the baby of the family. That's the baby of the family right there. So,
no, that's
I was
awesome.
taking a good guess. Yep, see, I was taking a good guess on that one. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny. But no, like but when you're at IAIA, back when I was there, it was just like a big collaboration. You get to see or get to talk to different students who are also artists, like whether they're a dancer or whether they're a poet, painter, sculptor. They're telling you their vision or telling you their way, kind of like this, like you're asking me all these questions. Like I would sit down and have a conversation with them. And we'd ask each other questions about our creativity. What makes this easy? What makes this hard? How can we help each other? It's just a big collaboration. Like, I definitely have changed after IA because with all the artists that I continue to have conversations with or continue to have close, relations with.
Chad Yellowjohn, what advice would you give to aspiring artists who want to explore and express their cultural heritage through their work?
You and your art does have a place in this world. And this world needs your beautiful mind to fight and to love. Our people behind, any culture, like even like your culture, you have those family members that are explorers. And when they explore, they come back and they tell their people's stories of what they experienced to carry on. I don't know, to just like give their loved ones or their friends or their community members, they paint the world for them to say, the world is okay to explore. There's a lot of Indigenous kids that, have a struggle with like finding or looking for, and then if they can't find it, they just stop looking for it, but looking for a figure
like a lot of Indigenous people, especially in the arts and stuff, like truly believing in yourself, because sometimes it's hard to find like that mentor to look up to. So kind of like relying on yourself and relying on God. And you know, like you said, I really love how you put that is, you know, your art is meant for this world. And that's really amazing.
Be the dancer, be the sculptor, be the poet, be the performer, be the man or woman, be the artist that you needed.
That's really cool. And I hope your words really do reach out to someone, and, you know, anybody who is listening. And I was going to ask you too, can you tell us again, where again, what is the name of your website?
It is Lil Coyote, COYOTE.com. I really want to like spell out coyote because a lot of people spell it with CI. I'm like,
right,
that's one of my pet peeves of today.
Like all that. But then too, so can you tell us your Instagram again as well?
Yes, it is Lil_Coyote.
Okay, and they can see all your drawings, all your creations on both the website and the Instagram.
Yeah, the Instagram will be mostly just like new creations or just like drafts or just my corny self.
No, so cool. And like, no, your page is really awesome. So if anybody wanted to collect one of your pieces, they would reach out to you through Instagram, or they can do that through your website. Now, do you if somebody wanted you to create a piece, do you do that as well, or how does that work?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, it's really more of like, you know, like commission season. Like if I have the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was going to ask you too, Chad, do you have any upcoming projects or future plans? Are there any more residencies? Will you be having any more shows coming up in the art world?
Mid-July, there's this Mississippi Chalk tournament that I'm going to be going to, which I'm really excited about. And I will also, at the end of July, I will be doing a workshop at the Institute of American Indian Arts with my Copic markers.
So at the end of July, you have, it's the Institute of, what was it?
American Indian Arts. I will be attending the Institute of American Indian Arts as freshmen. And I will be demonstrating and also doing a follow along. It's going to be a good experience because we're going to be able to do 3 hours instead of just an hour. So I just have to like skim through it. You
sound like you're doing a lot of things. That's very cool. And then hopefully, you know, your story can inspire other Indigenous artists as well.
And for a biopic.
And for a biopic as well.
I just kidding.
You never know. You have to try, you know, like I also believe God is good. Sometimes he creates the plans for us, and we just have to show up and do our best because, like you said, we only limit ourselves.
One of the things that we say after someone just spits like some amazing facts or just spits, you know, just amazingness, we say, aho.
Aho?
Aho.
Oh, aho?
Yeah.
Did I say it? Did I say that?
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay, aho. Hey, no. That's so cool.
That when someone spits knowledge, like someone always says, "Oh."
Oh, that's so cool. How about this? Let's give out some shout outs. Do you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
First off, I want to give a shout out to Susu. Thank you for creating this platform for little younger brother me. So thank you.
Little Coyote.
So okay, Susu, I see you.
Yeah, not the rapper, not the rapper, the artist.
Yeah. I'd like to give a shout out to my mom for I grown to be very appreciative and also very blessed to have my mom to support me on this path and also supporting whichever path that I go, whether it's conflicting on an issue or expressing myself. You know, thank you for loving me as an artist and as your son. My family definitely knows who I'm talking to. Thank you for helping me get through it, and thank you for always willing to just like talk and just like, I don't know, love me as well.
I had so much fun talking with you tonight. So happy to have you on as a guest and just talk about your experience as an artist and just through your life journey. So it was really amazing to hear your great story as well. And I just wanted to thank you for being a part of this tonight.
Well, I appreciate you for giving me the time and the platform. And yeah, no, you're a blessing.
Well, you've just been really amazing. So thank you, everyone. And thank you to everybody listening. Yella, take care.
Yella, Sko.
What's Sko?
Let's go.
Okay, so Yella. So for everybody out there listening, Yella is an Arabic word. So the indigenous word for Yella is Sko?
Sko.
Sko. Okay, so
Skoden or Studis.
Skoden is how I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Yella, everybody, take care. Skoden,
Yella.
I mean, thank you so much, Chad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
take care.